Coach, this is one of your annual stops, your early spring trio of events.
Right.
Georgia Tech has been going to this tournament for 17 years, I think, if I
Right.
counted correctly. What's so special about going back to this place year after year after year?
Well, part of it is when people ask you, why do you go to Hawaii and why do you go to Puerto Rico? And, there's just not that many places in this country in February where you'd want to play golf anyway. So part of it is just to get outside. I mean, uh, there's very few places that have 80-degree weather, like these two do. So part of it is to get outside, and part of it is to reward the guys for the work that they do and the grades that they make and the success that they have. You got to pay them back a little bit. So it's an easier trip for us, obviously, than going to Hawaii. It's nonstop to San Juan. It was a Greg Norman course. When we first went down there, it was in really pretty good shape. Facility maybe has declined a little bit over the years, but it's a good test. We've had some success down there, and again, it goes back to the same premise that we've operated under here for 15 or 16 years: is go find the best teams and play against them. And that's as much probably has to do with as anything is where are the top 10 or 15 teams playing that week, and see if we can't get an invitation and go play against them.
And how much is this how much of a benefit in recruiting is being able? There's not that many teams that go to this event year after year after year.
Right. You hope it has something to do with it. One from, again, that's probably what you're selling in recruiting is, in college golf, it's team first, individual second, because it doesn't matter if you may be the best player in the country. If your team isn't ranked high enough, you don't get invited to the better events. And so pairings, tournament invitations are all based on your program, and so you hope that kids look at where you play and who you play against as they pick out, because most of the guys we're recruiting have played in the very best junior tournaments, and that's how they felt they've gotten better. They'll want to do the same thing in college.
Talk about your team for a minute. You've got maybe the most solid 1 to 5 maybe that you've had in a while, given that Richie's got a top 10 under his belt and has played pretty well. Paul Haley's got 3 top 10s under his belt, and he's probably your 4 guy right now. How do you compare this bunch, with some of the ones you've had before?
Well, I shared with you last year at the honors course in the championship that there's the people who go to the championship and go, yeah, we can win the national championship, and if things go right, like really right, anyone who's there could win the tournament, and that's been proven. Then there's those teams who can say, if we just play to our average, not play average, but play to what we've done all year, can win the tournament. And I felt by the time we got to Chattanooga after having won conference that if we just played like we play, we could win the tournament. And you finished third in the stroke play, I think, and obviously had a wonderful match with Augusta State. But we were playing at a level there where I thought that just our golf, we could win the whole thing. And it'd probably been a little while since I felt that way. And then you lose the ACC champion and a guy that made All-American, and you go, well, there may be a bit of a step back because Chesson's gone and we've got to replace him. But 4 of those guys were coming back, and you assumed that they would all continue to progress and get better and find somebody. And Richie's done a really nice job. I think a lot of it had to do with him spending a semester here before he got started to get his feet wet and get on the ground. And he's actually, he's in second place at the preview. Didn't have the last round that he wanted, but for 36 holes, very competitive at a difficult place against really good players. And I, tried to get him to focus more on the first 2 rounds than the last one. And then obviously played very well at our tournament at the golf club. And so back to the strength of 5 versus last year, I think we're back where we were to some degree last June, which is if we play the way we can play, then we can win any tournament. Looked up some stats last night, just looking around for something to do at 10 o'clock at night before I went to sleep, and I looked on GolfStat, and I think that one of the things they keep is drop score. What is your average score that you throw away at the end of the day? And ours is significantly lower than I think the next best team, and it actually got down to some short game statistics. And our overall short game score is number 1 in the country, and I didn't know that. And so you got 5 good guys, 5 good players. Chemistry is fantastic. They like each other. Again, we've got the 3 guys with not a lot of school to do, and they're out there working and practicing and working out and doing all the right things. So I think the chemistry and all that around them, I think they enjoy one another, pull for each other. Things are really good right now.